Swords of Legends Online hits 200,000 players. Phantasy Star Online 2 begins its 9th anniversary. The Caligula Effect 2 launch date has been announced. The new world will start beginning its next closed beta tests. Final Fantasy X-3 or X-3 still might be a possibility. And Netflix is getting into video gaming. Hello everyone, my name is Automata Steam for Coffee and RPGs, where we cover the latest news, trends, and updates for the RPG gaming genre, including MMOs, survival, JRPGs, online, and the like. I went ahead and gathered some of the more popular RPG news so far this week, so if you want to go over them with me with a cup of coffee, of course, or your beverage of choice, let's go over them together. Cheers to you guys.
Consider hitting the subscribe button down below, as well as the bell notification right next to it. Thank you.
And as always, we'll begin with the first part of this video, which will be the quick news and headlines. And just a little FYI, the vast majority of the articles that I am going over will be in the first part of this video. I just didn't find a whole lot of RPG news, unfortunately, this week that was worth getting into, so definitely do apologize for that, but I'll deliver the news to you anyways. First, starting off with an article here from Destructoid.com, and it says here that Fallout 76 is bringing back the public test server very soon, and when they say very soon, they actually do mean hopefully this month. Baldur's Gate 3 patch 5 is now live, and it is bringing features including active role into the early access RPG. And to all the Elder Scrolls Online fans out there, well, they're starting a Pan-Elsweyr celebration that begins on July 22nd. And I do apologize if I mispronounced that. Let me know down in the comment section below how you actually do say it if I mispronounced it. And continuing on with MMORPG.com, Path of Exile revealing the 3.15 patch today. And this is just a reveal. The actual patch doesn't release until July 23rd for the PC, with the consoles following a few days later on July 28th. Next, we got an article here from MassivelyOP.com. And yes, this is the game that everybody loves to love or loves to hate. Star Citizen discusses balancing for shields, energy weapons, ships, and thrusters coming in the alpha patch 3.14. And an older MMORPG that doesn't get talked nearly as much as it should, in my opinion, Vindictus receives a new hero called Tessa, along with it with new events. And from Gematsu.com, we have another trailer that showcases one of the characters in the game called Law from Tales of Arise. NieR Automata Steam upgrade patch launches July 15th, and I know a lot of you have been asking for this for a while now. And Swords of Legends Online sells over 200,000 units since its Western launch. Gameforge promises to continue to work diligently to alleviate the North American server issues. And to be honest, actually, those numbers aren't too bad, and I just really hope that this MMO does kick things off and is able to retain its player base, because yeah, a lot of MMOs, they don't seem to do incredibly well after its first month, and yeah, that's just kind of the unfortunate truth with the genre right now. And another fairly older MMORPG, Neverwinter's Bard class and level-squish arrives to the PC in Jewel of the North on July 27th. It didn't occur to me until now that Phantasy Star Online 2 is actually just as old as Star Wars: The Old Republic, and they are celebrating their 9th anniversary with special events. And to those of you who are looking forward to the EA Play live event that's taking place next week, unfortunately, we won't have any news regarding the Star Wars franchise, but they did say here in this little Twitter that they are looking forward to celebrating with the fans next year for their vision of a galaxy far, far away. Now, I can't remember the last time I played Destiny 2, much less Destiny, but apparently after more than 1,600 attempts, a player has soloed Destiny 2's latest raid boss, and this is apparently a really big deal. He did record it, and so yeah, if you want to take a closer look at this and how he pulled it off, links to this will be down in the pinned comment section below for you to take a closer look. Next, we got the Caligula Effect 2 that will be launching on October 19th in North America and on October 22nd in Europe. This is definitely one of those JRPGs I would love to play, but unfortunately for me, I can't, because it will only be for the PlayStation 4 and Switch, and yeah, only game on the PC at the moment. Definitely something worth mentioning, considering that this isn't a tech channel, but anyways, I thought I'd mention it here really quick. And it says here that heads up, $5 Steam Deck reservation is now live, and this was published a day ago. And I read another article saying that the pre-orders for the Steam Deck was up 100,000 units in less than 3 hours. We got an article here from altchar.com, and I do apologize as always that the title is cut off on the right there, but it says that Riders Republic delayed again as rumors about developmental issues resurfaces. Now, I did make a video about this game, and I clickbaitingly, if that's a word now, called this game a sports or an extreme sports MMORPG, but I wouldn't really call this an MMO, considering it more plays like a lobby game, considering that, yeah, there is no persistent world where thousands of players could gather like a traditional MMORPG. But at the end of the day, this is still a game I would like to at least try out, considering it does go against the grain, against the status quo, and uses bikes instead of swords, and so I can kind of get behind that actually. Now, this is a game that may give you some 90s vibes, as I have the trailer playing above me, and you've actually may play the original GTA and GTA 2 games on the Windows 95 or Windows 98 operating system. And it says here that GTA 2 inspired cyberpunk action game called Glitchpunk hits early access on August 11th. And now moving on to the second part of today's video, which are the main news stories of the day. First, starting off with an article here from MMORPG.com, and it says here that New World details closed beta in dev blog, no NDA during the test next week. And that's some definite good news, especially for all the content creators out there, especially those on Twitch and YouTube and whatnot. And it goes on to say here that the New World's official launch might be August 31st, but the MMO is gearing up for a closed beta test starting on July 20th. And many see this as a soft launch of sorts, but this actually isn't the case. Now, the beta will be roughly about 2 weeks, and it says here that it will begin on July 20th, as I said before, to the end of August 2nd. Players who pre-ordered New World will have access to the test, and so I'm definitely gonna have to check it out, considering me and my colleagues from the MMO podcast that we do pre-ordered it. But the thing is, you could also sign up for the beta test without purchasing the game itself or pre-ordering the game itself, and the link to that will be down in the pinned comment section below from this article. But if you want to guarantee in terms of getting into the closed beta test, you could actually pre-order the game rather than just signing up. But the cutoff to get this pre-order route is July 17th. And lastly, as far as servers go, the New World will be supporting servers in North America, Europe, Australia, and Brazil, so hopefully crazy ping times won't be an issue for many players jumping into the playtest. Next, we got an article from Destructoid.com once again, and it says here that apparently Final Fantasy X-3 or X-3, depending on how you want to say it, is a possibility according to Nomura. But I absolutely find this little byline here kind of hilarious, because it says it is Nomura that they are talking about, so it may never see the light of day. Apparently, I guess this person has a reputation of making promises that they can't keep. But it does go on to say here that Nomura, speaking with Famitsu, in the issue of July 29th through August 5th, and as translated by RPG Site, that he notes that there is actually a X-3 synopsis floating around from Kazushige Nojima, and yeah, it's just sleeping at the moment, but it does exist. But at last, it says here that none of this will happen as so long as the Final Fantasy VII Remake is in production, and we all know that this is going to be split into 3 different parts. And so yeah, they jokingly say that we won't see X-3 if it's a possibility for another 3 years, but I don't think that's a joke. I think that's actually a pretty good and accurate guess as to when we might even see X-3 or X-3. Next, we head on over to MMORPG.com, and it says here that Elyon pre-orders are up, with the closed beta test 2 signups open on July 26, as Kakao confirms an early fall release here in the West. Now, one of the main reasons why I was initially interested in this game is because they actually used a steampunk aesthetic and vibe for this MMORPG. Unfortunately, though, most of that has been taken away, although a lot of people out there are still calling it a steampunk MMORPG. In my opinion, it's not very accurate. But anyways, moving on, it says here that Elyon, the MMORPG formerly known as Ascent Infinite Realm, has launched a new homepage to give players a chance to sign up for the next round of beta testing ahead of its Western launch. Kakao and Bluehole Studios launched the new site and confirmed that the CBT2 test sign up will begin here on July 22nd through August 11th. That's actually a pretty lengthy sign up period right there, but that's actually really good, especially to those of you who might be still on the fence or just trying to get enough, as many people as possible for this time around. Kakao detailed a little bit in the press release regarding the closed beta test 2 signups. Players can expect to see, among other things, a new Slayer class that will be in this time around that wasn't in before, and adjustment to size balances, among other things. And they include dungeons that are now divided into solo and party dungeons. Also, and this is something that I actually don't see a whole lot that a lot of MMOs do, special events specifically for the closed beta 2 participants. And so usually they do special events for the actual game after it launches, but this is for the closed beta test apparently, and so I kind of find that a little cool actually. Now this game is available for the Steam platform, fortunately, and at this point, why not? Just because it's such a huge platform. And now for the thumbnail news article for the day, and it's kind of funny because this really isn't RPG news per se, but definitely has the potential to be, as it says here from an article from PCGamer.com, that Netflix is getting into gaming development and that the company has hired game industry veterans to help lead the effort. And one of those is the Oculus, or former Oculus content vice president, Mike Verdu, and I do apologize if I'm mispronouncing his name, and he has been assigned the vice president of game development for the Netflix branch, if you will, for their gaming department. Now there is a sort of confidential source within the whole project that's going on right now within Netflix, and that source was talking to Bloomberg, and it says here that Bloomberg source now says that Netflix hopes to offer games within a year, and that's a huge turnaround. Now, not exactly sure what kind of game that they will be making, as it says here that what exactly it will look like is unclear, but one thing is everybody's getting into game these days, and they actually made sort of an interactive game called Black Mirror Bandersnatch, and this is a game I actually never heard of, but it's one of those things where you make selections or decisions within this sort of interactive movie, and different video clips of this game will play depending on your actions and whatnot, and I think that's actually really cool. Is it a video game at the end of the day? Absolutely, in my opinion, even though it doesn't really do the whole traditional game development aspect in terms of using, say, like the Unreal Engine to kind of make your video game characters and whatnot. So with that being said, at least Netflix kind of sort of does have some game development experiences, and it's probably a lot more than what Amazon could say. I'm not trying to burn them or anything, but let's face it, Amazon had a really rough start these past few years. They unreleased a game called, I don't even remember the name of that game anymore. The New World has been delayed countless times and over countless revamps as well. Google is even trying to get into the video game industry, but we all know how Stadia more or less had less success than anticipated, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, it's us gamers that win ultimately at the end, considering that these companies are going into the gaming market. And so what kind of stuff they'll crank out, I'm not exactly sure. Will they even make RPGs? I definitely think that's in the realm of possibilities. So with that being said, they will probably want to make a game that really has an engaging character development and story, and something that just really captivates the audiences out there. And RPGs can typically do that. Now, can other genres of the video game industry do that as well? Absolutely. You have games like God of War, for example, that isn't an RPG, that's an action game, and you really care for those characters and you really care for the plot and the development of the story. Now, will they make an MMORPG? I doubt it. If they do, I'd be completely shocked, but I would completely welcome it as well. Heck, they actually might even go the other route and make a shooter and another battle royale game and whatnot. But I don't know. It's really up in the air. That's my speculation. Again, I think because they are a studio as a film company, that yeah, they'll probably take that same route with video games too. But let me know down in the comment section below what you think that they'll do and what kind of games that they'll end up making at the end of the day. Anyways, everyone, that wraps up today's video. I really do appreciate if you made it with me so far, as the watch time does significantly help with the algorithms. Please consider hitting the subscribe button down below, as well as the bell notification icon right next to it, as it's my goal to try to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of this year, so any help is definitely appreciated. Anyways, everyone, I will finally let you guys go. Hope you guys have a blessed night, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers again, everyone.